Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who've been following my videos for a few years now, you'll know that I've been investing consistently on the Vanguard platform through an ISA since May of 2019. In the relatively short time I've been investing, I've seen a number of different market conditions with inflation, rising interest rates, COVID, and a global or a European war. All of these obviously follow one of the largest bull runs that the S&P 500 and the global financial market for that matter had seen historically. When I started investing, I knew literally nothing about the investing process. I'd done a little bit of research, but for all intents and purposes, I literally didn't know what I was doing. So I did a bit of research, looked into Vanguard and found the Vanguard Lifestrategy as the primary fund for me to invest in with very little knowledge. And this investment saw me very well for a large period of time, and it was for a few months the only product that I invested in. But as I started to learn a lot more about investing, became more confident and started to understand the products that Vanguard offer, I decided to branch off in a slightly different direction. About 6 months ago, I did a video on my 6-fund portfolio, and this is made up of 6 individual Vanguard ETFs. The purpose of this was to give me exposure to the global markets, whilst also enabling me to reduce my cost basis when compared to the Lifestrategy. Not only did following this approach lower my cost basis, but it also enabled me to access an average dividend of 1.79% per year, which again was increased when compared to the Lifestrategy's offerings. The allocation that I decided on was very closely mapped to both the Lifestrategy and the Vanguard All-World ETF, which is another excellent choice if you're looking for complete global diversification. A few things that I wasn't too happy about though with the Lifestrategy was that it was overexposed, in my opinion, to the UK. Because it's a UK-based fund, it had a UK-based bias, which is something that I wasn't happy with. And equally, when looking at Vanguard's All-World ETF, that had overexposure, in my opinion, to the US market, and I wasn't happy to offer any more than 50% of my overall investment to any one geographical location. So I came up with the following approach. I've allocated 50% of my capital to the S&P 500, which is my North America or US allocation, 10% to the FTSE 100, so the United Kingdom allocation. Whilst I know this is still a slight bias when compared to the market capitalization of different markets, it's something that I'm more happy with than what the Lifestrategy does. I've got 12% allocated to the developed Europe ex-UK, obviously, so there's no crossover there at all. I've got 15% allocated to the emerging markets, 8% allocated to FTSE's Japan ETF, and then 5% to the developed Asia Pacific ex-Japan. I have been considering tinkering with this a little bit to increase my diversification within the United Kingdom. I wouldn't ever increase my allocation above 10%, but what I might consider doing is allocating 6 to 7% to the FTSE 100 and the other 3 to 4% to the FTSE 250, just so I get some of those smaller cap companies within my portfolio, because we know that historically small cap companies are where much of the growth is made. I have said that I'm going to sell the Lifestrategy over a number of different months on a few different occasions, but to be honest with you, I've just not got around to doing it. So today, that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to sell the Lifestrategy 100 and we're going to reallocate my capital following my allocation or my target allocation to those 6 different funds. And we're going to do this using Vanguard's switch feature. So we'll hop straight onto the Vanguard platform and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here we are then inside my Vanguard ISA. We won't spend too much looking at the value of the ISA or the personal return on investment, because we'll save that for a Vanguard update in the coming weeks. First of all though, we'll have a quick look at exactly my holdings within the Lifestrategy at the moment. So we'll come over here to where it says investments on the left hand side, and we can select holdings and then select a slightly more detailed breakdown of exactly what I'm holding. And you can see here the Lifestrategy 100 up here makes up 16% of my overall portfolio at present. Got an ongoing charge fee of 0.22% and I currently hold 6.30 units of the fund. My average buy cost is £225.33 and the last price of this fund was £280.48. So you can see quite a substantial increase on my investment. And I've seen a total return on investment here of £347.55. If we click across to performance, we can break down the performance of that investment exactly. So we'll scroll down to the bottom here because it was the first fund I actually bought into, and you can see I've invested £1,407.24. I've seen a return of that £347 as we suggested. This gives me a total holding in this fund of £1,767.55 and a total return on investment, time weighted return investment of 32% or 32.88%. So really quite nice. We can also factor in the £12 actually realised gain that I've made from when I sold this fund previously, giving me a total overall return on investment of £360.30. We're back now in the overview screen, and from the overview screen we can click on this portfolio options over here on the right hand side. We're going to come down to the switch option, which offers you the opportunity to switch between different funds held on the Vanguard platform. So that is exactly what we want to do. So we'll click switch over here and of course select that next available buy price, because we don't really be spending any money on fees. The market is closed at the moment anyway, but we really don't want to be spending money on fees. We want that money to continue compounding and working for me. So when we click through there, that will bring you through to this screen here, which says switch your investments in your ISA. So there's 3 different steps here. We've got the sell option, the choose the investment, and then completing the order afterwards, which will then process everything that we've asked it to do. We're going to sell all of the Lifestrategy here, so we're just going to click on sell all, and what that will do is it will pull through the estimated sale value here. Something we do have to bear in mind is that these values may move around ever so slightly, so we might find that we're actually selling a value less than we see on screen right now, which will obviously impact what we can buy in the future. You can see we've selected all over here. We'll scroll down to the bottom here and click next, and what that will do is then pull us through to the opportunity to choose the investments that we want to make. So what we need to do then is we need to find the investments that we want to put this cash into. So we'll add more investments, and then we'll select the equity funds just down here. And funnily enough, what you'll notice is that the equity funds actually allow you to put a percentage allocation in. So we can now select exactly what percentage of money we want to put towards that investment. So nice and simple actually. It's always worth working out exactly what we're expecting to put across, but we don't actually need to do that. So we'll use this little spreadsheet over here again, this little screen grab. And for the VERX, we're going to be investing about 12% of our capital just over here, which should equate to £212. So we're going to put 12% in here, and what you'll notice is this little tab down the bottom moves down to 88%, showing we've got 88% of our capital still to allocate. So we'll keep pulling ourselves down over here until we find the next one that we're interested in, which is likely to be Vanguard's FTSE 100 ETF. So again, we're hoping to invest £176, but equally that is going to be 10% of the capital. So we'll put 10% in just over there. And we'll keep working down. Vanguard's Japan ETF is of course 8%. The VAPX is of course 5%, and you can see the allocation is coming down all the time over here. Next we need to find VUSA, which was 50%, the largest holding within our portfolio. And then finally Vanguard's emerging market at 15%, which is sat just here. That will tick down nicely to 0%. So we're there sorted. We know exactly what we're expecting to go into each of these funds. We know exactly the allocation that we've done, and we know that we've allocated all of that capital now that we're selling from selling the Lifestrategy. So we'll click back across to next now. We'll make this just that little bit bigger over there. And you can see it breaks down exactly what we're planning on doing here. It shows us our sell, so our sell of the Lifestrategy, and then it shows us exactly how we're allocating this capital. So we'll then just simply click this button down here, confirming that we've acknowledged all of the investor documentation. I've invested in these products for some time now, so I don't feel the need to read through it every single time, but we'll click that and then we'll click submit. And what that's doing now is it's processing. It of course won't happen straight away overnight. It can take a few days to sell blended funds such as the Lifestrategy. So I wouldn't expect it to be completed before the end of the week or maybe early next week, but we'll keep an eye on it, keep checking in, and I'm sure in the next Vanguard update you'll see that I no longer hold the Lifestrategy and I've got a complete 6-fund portfolio. So there we have it then guys, I am now no longer a Lifestrategy 100 holder. The fund has been exceptional to me. It's given me an insight into investing. It's helped me springboard my way into it and get a really good understanding and feel feel that investing is actually accessible to anyone. My use for it has now obviously passed, with me going down a slightly different route to hopefully get as much growth as possible whilst reducing those fees. Maybe this is something that you want to try as well yourself, or maybe you just want to stick to the easy option, which would be investing in something like the Lifestrategy or Vanguard's All-World ETF. Of course, if you have liked this video, found it useful, or just found it a little bit interesting, please do like and comment, and also consider subscribing to the channel as well. Obviously, nothing you see in this video today should constitute financial advice. If you do hold the Lifestrategy, any of the different life strategies, it's probably still the correct fund for you. But if you do want to change and tweak it and perhaps adopt for a different style of portfolio, check out my videos previously and do research before you make your own decision. Of course, this is going to work well for me, but it doesn't necessarily mean it'll work well for you as well. So just have a bit of research if you do decide to do something like this. And with that said, guys, hopefully I'll catch you very soon in the next one.